fictional short story novel writing, not screenplay. But to me, and what many writers will say, is you should know the ending before the rest of the story. The ending will define the rest of the story. Some people have different opinions, but that's what I tend to think. So then we have multiple other drafts, second draft, third draft, fourth draft, maybe you go 10, 20 drafts, right, before it's finished. Maybe you just write one and it's perfect. In that case, bravo. And then of course the final draft, which is usually what will end up being made into the movie. Final draft will become a technical screenplay, and that is what will get shot. Next stage, next slide, please. Okay, so we have our concept. We need to answer these questions about our movie. We need to know, what is the movie about? What is the movie about? This question, you should be able to answer this question in one sentence. One sentence should tell the entire story of your movie. If you start going, well, it's about, so there's this guy and he like does this job, and so he goes to the place one day and there's this thing. This is not a concept. This is not a synopsis. This is a storyline more, right? So you need to know what makes this movie special. Why is this movie unique? Why is this something that has not been made before? Why would people want to see this? For instance, if I see another movie about Nazis and World War II, I'm going to kill myself. Because, why? Has been done over and over and over. There are many excellent films made about World War II, but the concept to me is kind of cheating. Why? Because Nazis are what? They're like the ultimate evil. So anyone who needs an evil empire and something good and something evil, they go straight to Nazis. So sick of Nazis. Don't write about Nazis. So, next question. Why do you want to write this movie? Why you? Why not someone else? Why do you have a unique perspective that makes this movie possible? Okay. Why do you really want to just direct? If you really just want to be a director, you should direct. Get someone else to write your screenplay. Maybe you have a friend who is a better writer than you are. But if you think that you are the one to write this screenplay, and you can answer the question why, then you should write the screenplay. Last question, is this a movie you want to see? Is this a movie you want to see, right? Many people are writing a screenplay because they are in love with the idea of making a movie, right? This is a trap that I've fallen into. When I'm writing something, I think, God, this would look so good between the covers of the book, right? But maybe the story is not really worth telling. So we have to know, is this a movie that you would pay money to go to the theater and see? I think this is an important question to ask about your movie. Next slide. Okay, so do we have time for the clips, Angelica, do you think? Okay, so to set you up, this is a clip from Adaptation, a film by Charlie Kaufman this is about Charlie developing his concept for a film about flowers. So he's trying to think, God, how do I tell a story about a flower? Okay, so let's see what Charlie comes up with.
To write about a flower, to dramatize a flower, I have to show the flower's arc, and the flower's arc stretches back to the beginning of life. How did this flower get here? What was its journey?
Therefore, I should infer from analogy that probably all the organic beings which have ever lived on this earth have descended from some one primordial form into which life was first breathed.
It is a journey of evolution, adaptation, the journey we all take, the journey that unites each and every one of us. Darwin writes that we all come from the very first single-cell organism. Yet here I am. And there's LaRoche, there's Orlean, and there's the ghost orchid. All trapped in our own bodies, in moments in history. That's it. That's what I need to do. Tie all of history together.
Start right before life begins on the planet. all is lifeless. And then life begins with organisms, those little single cell ones. Oh, and it's before sex, because like everything was asexual. From there, we go to bigger things, jellyfish. And then that fish that got legs on it and crawled out on the land, and then we see, dinosaurs. And then they're around for a long, long time. And then an asteroid comes and whoosh, the insects, the extinct mammals, the primates, monkeys, the simple monkeys, the old-fashioned monkeys getting away with the new monkeys, whatever, and then apes, whatever, and man. Then we see the whole history of human civilization, hunting and gathering, farming, war, love, religion, heartache, disease, loneliness, technology. We bring it all the way to this moment in history and end with Susan Orlean in her office of the New Yorker writing about flowers, and bang, the movie begins. This is great. This is the breakthrough I've been hoping for. It's never been done before, so it ties everything in.
Okay, so he's trying to come up with a concept about flowers, and he has to go all the way back to the beginning of time to write about this. So the point is to ask ourselves, do I really need to go back all the way to the beginning of time, or is there a simpler way to introduce this story, right? So, okay, so now we have our concept. We went through whatever Charlie went through, and we had our revelation, this is what the movie is about, right? So now we need to write a treatment. At least within the confines of professional, commercial, produced movie production, a treatment is important. But treatment is important as a technical document. But as a creative document, to help you define and understand your story, a treatment, I think, is essential. So we need a title. A title. Why not just begin with untitled screenplay? The title helps us clarify the idea, right? If we can condense our concept even further into 2 words or 5 words or whatever on the title of the film, this can help clarify our understanding of what it is we're trying to write. A log line or a tagline? What is a log line? What is a log line? Right, this is our single sentence, our short phrase. This is if we bump into Joel Silver, the producer, on the street, and he says, "Oh, good to see you, what is your movie about?" And you can't give him that one sentence, he's gonna walk away. So we call this the elevator pitch. It's as if you bumped into someone in the elevator and you have until the elevator reaches the next floor to tell them what your movie is about. So some people say log line, some people say tagline, essentially the same thing. This is often what appears on the movie poster as well, right? In a world, right? So our synopsis, we talked about our synopsis. In terms of a treatment, I think a synopsis should be no more than a paragraph. You should be able to tell your whole story. So we have our sentence, our log line, now we have our paragraph. So several sentences about what our story is about. But we should be able to contain the entire story within that paragraph. Back to our questions we asked before, right? We need to think about these, we call them, in English education, we call these open questions. We ask, what is the movie about? Who is involved? Who are the characters? When does this movie happen? Where does it happen? Why does it happen? The why is maybe the most important, right? Because again, so many movies have been made on the same subjects. We need to know why this one is different, why it is happening the way it is. Introduction to key characters, so we need a short description of who the main characters will be. Again, maybe a sentence, 2 sentences about each one. Then we have our storyline. So this is maybe another page, page and a half, if we think about the treatment as a 2 to 3 page document. So our storyline is going to contain the 3 acts of our story. What is the 3-act structure? What is the 3-act structure? Beginning, middle, and end, right? This idea goes back thousands of years. The ancient Greeks were using this concept. I don't know if they originated it, but probably there were cavemen sitting around campfires using the 3-act structure, telling stories to each other. So beginning, middle, and end. I found some interesting information online. I was doing research for this presentation. A writer named Marilyn Horowitz, who is also a script doctor in the United States, she defines it as setup, conflict, and resolution. So Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Many writing teachers will tell you that Act 1 should be no more than 10 minutes. So the first 10 minutes of your film, or the first 10 pages of your screenplay, because screenplays are often defined as a page a minute, right? So a page of screenplay should equal a minute of screen time. So by the end of page 10, something should have happened. The inciting incident, if we know about the hero's journey and this kind of dramatic structure. Many writing teachers will tell you, and if you watch many movies, then you can time it. You can say, right around 10 minutes, something happens that sets up the rest of the movie, right? Our conflict is the main body, most of the story, and then our resolution is wrapping everything up, right? Next slide, please.
Miles?
Yes.
The storyline, the extension of a storyline, it's what, five presses, or which is the extension?
I mean, it depends. It depends how much you feel you need to write to encompass the bulk of the story. So we have our tagline, we have our one sentence, then we have our synopsis, a whole paragraph, and then maybe if we think of it like an essay, like a basic academic school essay, you can think, okay, I need 5 paragraphs. I need an introduction paragraph. I need 3 body paragraphs to make my main point, and then a concluding paragraph, which ties together all of the information and the introduction in one paragraph. So does that answer your question, Angelica?
Because sometimes we have that confusion about the extension of every of these documents.
Yeah, so to me, and again, some people say one thing, some people say another thing, but your synopsis and your storyline and your treatment shouldn't be more than 2 or 3 pages at the most. But if you write an outline of your film, in other words, a step-by-step detailed description of everything that happens, this can be 30 pages, 40 pages, something like that. But a treatment should be like your, let's say you want to start a company and you're looking for investors. Somebody needs a concise document to know what your company is going to be about, that they can read. You hand them the entire 120-page screenplay or a sheet of a 40-page outline, and they don't know anything about your movie. They're just going to, I don't have time for this, I'm a busy man, right? So once you have them hooked, once you have your story, you have your treatment, you have them, interested, this sounds like a good story, then you can hand them your 60-page outline, right? Or the screenplay, if it is finished. Because many screenplays are not written until after a movie has entered pre-production or even development phase, right? Any other questions? Am I going too fast? No? All right. Next slide.
Next.
Okay, so here's some advice, again, written by Charlie Kaufman, but spoken through the mouth of, I forgot his name. What is the name of this actor? Yeah. Okay, so let's hear this. Clip number 2, please. From Adaptation. So he's asking about, how do I write a story where nothing happens? And this is the answer from the screenwriting teacher.
Yes. Sir, what if a writer is attempting to create a story where nothing much happens, where people don't change, they don't have any epiphanies, they struggle and are frustrated and nothing is resolved? More a reflection of the real world.
The real world?
Yes, sir.
The real fucking world. First of all, you write a screenplay without conflict or crisis, you'll bore your audience to tears. Secondly, nothing happens in the world? Are you